Hey YouTube, I'm back and just gonna share a little bit. It's gonna be real fast. Not gonna go into too much stuff too deep. If you have any questions, you can send me an email or place a comment on the video, and I'll be happy to respond. Um, Pretty much right now, I'm still low on followers, so I can respond to every message. So feel free to ask me anything on the whole thing with this whole private pilot, zero to private pilot thing. So one thing I want to say is I was pretty much prepared on time wise take my check ride at about 45 hours. Some people are fly for 60 and 70 hours and are not ready to take their check ride. Um, Fortunately for me, I had the time to consistently fly almost every weekend, at least a Friday and a Saturday. Starting out, I was flying Friday, Saturday, and Sundays every week, probably for the first 15 hours. But of course, that got very expensive, so I kind of had to back that down a little bit. Um, I flew with my CFI a total of about 32 hours. Some schools will, or CFI will cut you loose at about 20, depending on how good you are. Um, I had some, I wasn't very confident, honestly, in myself. And I think my CFI was more confident in myself than, confident in me than I was. So I flew with my CFI a total of 32 hours. That was about $4,960 total. The plane I fly is about 115 an hour, and the CFIs are $40 an hour. So to kind of give you an idea of what I'm paying here an hour, and that's very important because the school I went to was very cheap compared to a lot of those schools. That 115, most schools I've seen are like 150 and 160 an hour to rent the planes. Um, the other thing I did was I did my solo time. For solo time, I pretty much flew about 13 hours, and that was about $1,500 because I just fly with myself. And that's only paying for the plane, which is 115. And they actually raised the price on the plane. I think it raised it to about 125 now recently. So I have to confirm that later. But all in all, I spent about $6,500 getting my private pilot license. Excuse me, $6,500 just for the training because the check ride itself is another fee. And on top of that, I was told by my CFI to make sure you schedule a check ride, a month or two in advance and let them know when you think you're ready. I did not do that. I waited almost to the last 3 or 4 hours of my training time and to try to schedule it. And then when I scheduled it, there was actually one CFI that was DPE that was local to my airport, and he has another job, so it takes him. He schedules 3 or 4 months out. So I ended up having to schedule with another DPE that a lot of people use here in South Carolina, and he's out of Florence, and so got it done there. The problem with that was that I actually had to rent the plane to fly to Florence, do the test. So it took me about an hour to fly there, do the tests for about an hour and 20 minutes, and probably like an hour and 10 really flying. Land, finish up everything, and then fly back, which is another hour. So for the test, it took me 3 hours of paying for the plane solely just to take the check ride plus the check ride fee. So that added on, a little more cost that day. But overall, I passed, so I was very happy. So I think last time I left off, I didn't talk about my solo cross country. So those are very exciting because you're in the plane by yourself. I didn't fly very high. I didn't go like to 5,000 or anything like that. I ended up flying, I think, at about 3,000 the whole way. So it was a little bumpy. It was a little hot, and got through it. Um, the most exciting thing was on my 50-mile cross country, my first one. You know, you do all the calculations yourself. You do your intended heading and your ground speed, and looking at the winds and directions, everything you think is going to be. And I was very happy that when I showed up, when I got there, that I actually saw the airport, in sight for the heading I had picked. I did have the GPS on as well, but I didn't look at it. I just wanted to see if I could do the dead reckoning that they teach you without using the equipment in the plane really. other than the heading indicator. So that was fun. And then, of course, I did my 150. I flew back to Greenwood, which is about 54 nautical miles. Then I flew to Augusta and then turned back around and came back to Winsboro. So wasn't exciting as the 54 because I had never done it before. Like, I'd never flown that far by myself. So that was very exciting. Going to Augusta, I actually almost probably would have gotten in trouble because I didn't realize how close I was getting to the Augusta airspace, and I hadn't called the tower to ask, can I come in here and get, come in for a landing. And as soon as I realized it, I had to turn away for a little while to get the radio frequency set so I could actually call them. And so that was one situation where, I was kind of lost and just being excited that I'm up here doing this stuff that I got behind the plane, which is a bad thing. You should always be ahead of the plane. So actually, when I left Greenwood, I should have had those frequencies ready and programmed in. I had them written down, but I just didn't program it in. So that's just a note to new guys out there. So anyways, on to the check ride, flew to Florence, got in there, met the guy. We sat in the office probably for about, I think about 35 minutes was my actual oral. It was a little weird because of the questions that I asked were some that I knew the answers to, but I didn't think that they would be asked. Just like when you adjust the trim tab, like going nose down, which way does the trim tab move, like up or down? So that was a odd question that I never really thought about or thought I was gonna be asked. So that was a little weird. There were a few others that I can't think of. I can't really remember at the moment. But overall, I got through it. My DP did not really ask any of the easy questions that, like what documents you're supposed to have with you or what documents you're supposed to have in the plane. He went through maybe one or two of those, such as, the weight and balance, because that actually was in my, in one of the requirements that I had to do to make the flight. So he picked the area that we're supposed to fly to, and I had to plan the trip, for fuel burn and speed, headings. Had to do the waypoints for which I'm going to fly over to make sure that I'm going the right path. He asked a few questions about the airspace, and like I said, those were fairly easy questions, but there were a few weird one-offs that he asked. Of course, he did a couple of emergency questions. What do you do if a fire's engine fire, or what do you do if fires in the plane? So those are pretty common questions to ask on the whole check ride. So make sure you get those. And I'm not saying that those common questions, like I said, that I see are not important. Make sure you know them. I just got asked way different questions on my check ride than I thought I would ask. I've even done a few mock check rides with a few people, and none of them ever came close to these questions. So make sure you study as much as you can. Know the plane you're flying. The plane I fly doesn't have a vacuum system, which is odd. Most planes have a vacuum system installed on it. So all my things are electric gyros. Electric and gyro, excuse me. Electrical driven and gyro. So that was, one thing that had I not known that or asked the actual mechanic of the plane, that I probably could have got a dissatisfactory comment from the DPE if I didn't know that. So the flight part was fairly easy. The only reason I say the flight part was easy was because I've done the maneuvers so many times, over and over and over and over and over and over. And so those were not really the issue. The issue was my mind. And the issue was my mind because I got in the plane, I forgot one critical thing, that if you fail the check ride at any point, the DPE has to stop you for a second to let you know that he has to give you a failure for your check ride. Then he will say, we can continue and do the rest of the check ride. And then when we finish, you can come back and then finish the rest of the check ride at another time. Or if your CFI is actually with you, he can go up and retrain you on those things. You can come back and then finish it right then on the spot, which is another key thing that a lot of people, nobody's never told me that. Like if you had your CFI with you, you can go right up with, after you fail the check ride, you get back in the plane with your CFI, he retrains you on the thing, signs you off, you can go right back to the DP and retake the check ride if he has time, pending, you don't mess up on a whole lot of maneuvers. But yeah, so in my mind, I'm doing a maneuver and I'm watching the gauges and everything, like I'm doing a steep turn. I know I didn't lose no more than 100 feet. I mean, I lost like 20. I didn't. I actually turned at 40 degrees for most of my steep turns. I didn't even do the minimum. So I kind of stayed at 40. If I went over 40, that's actually a partial that I could fail because that's too high. But yeah. So I'm nervous about every maneuver I'm doing and not thinking about it, and thinking about 2 maneuvers ago that I might not have done it satisfactory, but it's like if I didn't do good, he would have told me right then and he would have failed me. So anyways, completed all maneuvers, came in, landed. Of course, I'm in my head freaking out and just not knowing or feeling like I didn't perform satisfactory. I just, worried myself to death for nothing. And of course, he parked and he said, congratulations. So got my paper here. This is the temporary airman certificate, and they'll be mailing the little hard card that you get like when you're a student. They'll be coming to me. So yeah, I did it. So I was able to complete my private pilot license in about I was ready in 45, but I continued on flying. So I really completed it in about 50 hours of flight time total that I actually did before I actually went and took the check ride. So yeah, so I guess I expect if you're going to budget for actually doing this, to actually expect to at least fly for 50 hours, unless you're just some some prodigy, some flight prodigy, and you just get everything and you're rolling and good to go. A key thing behind that is just making sure that you can fly like once a week consistently, and I guess you could also do some chair flying, like everybody say, to make sure that you're setting up everything proper. Using cue cards. Yeah. So, well, I'm now a member of that club of the few of being a pilot. So, I will continue on flying. I'm probably going to try to do the IFR add-on, as well as the multi-engine as well, at minimum. I think multi-engine only takes like 10 hours, so I definitely will be getting that. And I do want to get a complex rating. So a complex rating and a high performance endorsement. So I probably will do try to get 2 of those out in one. So probably like the complex and the high performance. I try to get in the same plane and get them get the time for both of them at the same time and check out for those. Yeah, so that's it. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like I said, right now I don't have many followers, so if you see this video and you're interested, shoot me an email or make a comment and let me know what you think, or ask comments. I'm pretty sure I probably said some things not exactly right, or I'm just kind of caught in the moment. I'm not good at being in front of the camera. I'm talking, but I'm sure I might see some comments from some real pilots already, about the mistakes I made. But hey, guys, I'm new, so forgive me. And I'm speaking off the top of my head. I don't have anything written down. That's it, guys. So anyways, have a nice day.